They named the deadliest worlds. The human asked, "Where's Earth?" They answered, "Deathworld." The human said, "Exactly." Marcus Chen stood in the massive hall of the Galactic Council's exploratory division. The building was bigger than any stadium he had ever seen on Earth. Hundreds of aliens moved around him. Some had 4 arms, some floated in the air, some had scales that changed colors. Marcus was the only human in the entire station. He felt excited. Earth had finally joined the Galactic Council. Marcus was chosen as the first human to work in the Survey Corps. The Survey Corps explored new planets and helped make maps of dangerous worlds. It was exactly the kind of adventure Marcus wanted. A tall alien approached him. She looked like a jellyfish but walked on 2 thin legs. Her body glowed with soft blue light. Her name was Commander Vila and she was an Etherian. "Welcome, Marcus Chen from Earth," Vila said. Her voice was gentle and musical. "You are our newest recruit. Please follow me to the orientation hall." There was Yenna, an insect-like creature with delicate wings. There was Pix, a small furry alien who looked like a teddy bear with 6 eyes. All of them seemed nervous. The orientation hall had rows of seats facing a large holographic screen. Marcus sat down between Threx and Pix. Pix looked at Marcus with wide eyes. "You are from Earth?" Pix asked in a squeaky voice. "Yes, I am," Marcus said with a smile. Pix's fur turned pale. "I heard stories about Earth. Is it true that your planet has storms that can destroy entire cities?" "We have gentle rain twice a year. That is all." "Welcome, new recruits," Vila said. "Today you will learn about the Galactic Hazard Classification System. This system helps us understand how dangerous different planets are." Level 1 was bright green. Level 10 was dark red. Class 1 worlds are paradise worlds, Vila explained. The screen showed beautiful planets with calm oceans and gentle forests. These planets have perfect weather, no dangerous animals, no natural disasters. Very few species come from paradise worlds because evolution happens slowly there. These planets are safe and comfortable. They have some weather but nothing extreme. They have animals but nothing too dangerous. These planets have difficult conditions, harsh weather, dangerous animals, rocky terrain. Species from these worlds are usually strong and careful. Class 7 through 9 are hazard worlds. Vila's voice became serious. The screen showed planets with violent storms and rough landscapes. These worlds are extremely dangerous. Very few species evolve on hazard worlds. Those who do are incredibly tough. We avoid sending survey teams to these planets unless absolutely necessary. One had volcanoes erupting everywhere. Another had massive storms that covered half the planet. Another had creatures so large they could step on buildings. Class 10 worlds are called Deathworlds, Vila said quietly. These are the most dangerous planets in the galaxy. Everything on these worlds is trying to survive in extreme conditions. The gravity might be crushing. The atmosphere might be toxic. The weather might be deadly. The animals might be massive predators. Only the strongest and most adaptable species can evolve on Deathworlds. In the entire Galactic Council, only 3 species come from Class 10 worlds. No survey teams go there unless we have special equipment and experienced members. Even then, missions to Deathworlds have the highest failure rate. Every alien turned to look at Marcus. Vila's glowing patterns flickered and dimmed. She seemed uncomfortable. Earth, Vila said slowly, is classified as a Class 10 death world. Yenna's wings buzzed with anxiety. The other recruits stared at Marcus with wide eyes. Marcus nodded calmly. "Exactly," he said. "So when do we start?" She had expected Marcus to be scared or upset. Instead, he sat calmly, waiting for his assignment. "You are not concerned?" Vila asked. "Why would I be?" Marcus said. "I grew up on Earth. I know it is dangerous, but humans have lived there for thousands of years. We know how to handle it." We need volunteers for the rescue mission. But if they need help, someone has to go. They whispered about the human from the Deathworld. Pix approached carefully. Are you scared? Pix asked. Marcus smiled. A little nervous, maybe, but that is normal before any mission. Fear is useful, it keeps you alert. Marcus thought about that. On Earth, I am just a normal person. Many humans do much more dangerous things than I do. He checked his environmental suit. He studied the data about Karnak 5. The acid rain had a pH level similar to battery acid. The winds reached speeds of 200 kilometers per hour. The temperature swung from freezing to boiling within hours. To Marcus, it looked challenging. But it also looked manageable. Earth had trained him well. He had grown up in storm zones. He had hiked through deserts. He had survived in frozen mountains. Karnak 5 would be difficult but not impossible. As Marcus lay down to sleep, he smiled. Tomorrow would be interesting. The galaxy was about to learn what humans could do, and it all started with a simple rescue mission on a world that terrified everyone else. The adventure was just beginning. The rescue ship dropped through the dark clouds of Karnak 5. Marcus stood in the cargo bay with his team. Commander Vila had assigned 3 experienced crew members to join him. They all looked nervous. Threx, the turtle-like Krell, wore a massive environmental suit. It had extra armor plating and 3 layers of protection. He checked his suit seals for the 5th time. Yenna, the insect alien, had a transparent dome over her entire body. Her wings were folded tight against her back. She buzzed anxiously. Pix, the small furry Nimbari, wore a suit that made him look like a round ball. Only his 6 eyes were visible through the helmet. He shook with fear. Marcus wore a lighter suit than any of them. It was similar to the hazard gear he used on Earth during hurricane relief missions. He felt comfortable in it. Landing in 2 minutes, the pilot announced. Wind speed is 190 kilometers per hour. Acid rain is heavy. Temperature is 4 degrees and dropping fast. Threx made a worried sound. This is madness. My people have never experienced winds above 20 kilometers per hour. My homeworld has no rain at all, Pix squeaked. Only gentle morning mist. Marcus checked his equipment one more time. These conditions are similar to a bad typhoon season back home. The acid is stronger than normal rain, but the suit will handle it. Just stay close to me and follow my lead. The ship landed with a heavy thud. The cargo door opened. Wind screamed into the bay. Rain hammered against their suits. Marcus stepped out first. The landscape of Karnak 5 looked like a nightmare. Black rocks jutted from red soil. The sky was dark green. Lightning flashed constantly. The acid rain fell in sheets so thick it was hard to see more than a few meters ahead. Marcus pulled out a navigation device. The stranded team is 5 kilometers northeast. We need to move quickly. The storm is getting worse. The team started walking. Threx struggled against the wind. His heavy suit made him slow. Yenna could barely move forward. Her light body kept getting pushed backward. Pix kept falling over. Marcus moved steadily. He leaned into the wind at the right angle. He had learned this during storm training in Florida. When Threx stumbled, Marcus caught him with one hand. The big alien was surprised at Marcus's strength. "How are you so stable?" Threx asked through the communication system. "Humans evolved to walk upright in all conditions," Marcus explained. "Our center of gravity is good for balance. We practiced walking in storms for generations. This wind is strong, but not the strongest I have experienced." They walked for an hour. The temperature dropped to below freezing. Now they had wind, acid rain, and cold. Yenna started moving slower. Her species came from a warm world. She was not built for cold. Marcus noticed her struggling. "Yenna, stay in the center of our group. We will block the wind for you." "Threx, walk on her left side. Pix, stay on the right. I will lead from the front." They formed a protective formation. It helped. Yenna could move faster with less wind hitting her directly. After 2 hours, they reached a deep chasm. A river of acid flowed at the bottom. It was 20 meters wide. On the other side, Marcus could see the emergency shelter where the stranded team was waiting. "We need to cross," Marcus said. Threx looked at the acid river and stepped back. "Impossible. If we fall in, our suits will fail in seconds. Even if we had a bridge, the wind could blow us off." Marcus studied the chasm carefully. He noticed rock formations that created natural stepping stones. They were wet and covered in acid, but they were stable. He also noticed the wind pattern. The chasm created a wind tunnel, but the gusts came in rhythm. There were brief moments when the wind died down. "I see a path," Marcus said. "Natural rock steps. We cross during the calm moments between wind gusts." "How do you know when the calm moments will come?" Yenna asked. Marcus watched the rain patterns and listened to the wind. Wind has rhythm. Even in chaos there are patterns. On Earth we learn to read weather. "Watch," he counted silently. The wind screamed. Then it dropped. 5 seconds of relative calm. Then it screamed again. The pattern repeated. "The cycle is 30 seconds, Marcus said. "Strong wind for 25 seconds, then 5 seconds of calm. We move during the calm moments. One person at a time. I go first to test the route." Before anyone could argue, Marcus waited for the next calm period. When it came, he jumped to the first rock, then the second, then the third. He crossed the entire chasm in 3 calm periods. On the other side he waved. "See, safe. Threx, you come next." Threx was terrified, but he trusted Marcus. He crossed slowly, taking 2 calm periods per rock, but he made it. Then Yenna crossed, moving faster with her lighter body. Finally, Pix bounced across, using his small size to his advantage. They reached the emergency shelter. It was a small dome made of strong material. Marcus knocked on the door. It opened. Inside were 3 aliens. One was a crystalline being that looked like living glass. Her name was Shisha, and she was a Lumine. The other 2 were researchers from species Marcus did not recognize. "Thank the stars," one researcher said. "We thought no one would come. The storm hit earlier than predicted. Our ship was damaged. We have been trapped here for 3 days." Marcus checked their supplies. They had enough food and water, but then he noticed something wrong. Shisha was sitting in the corner. Her normally bright crystalline body looked dull. There was a crack in her containment suit. "How long has her suit been damaged?" Marcus asked. 2 hours, the researcher said sadly. "The atmosphere here is toxic to Lumine. She is dying. We called for rescue, but we thought it would take days. Even with rescue, we thought we would need to bring her back to the ship for medical treatment." Marcus checked his data. The ship was 3 hours away. Shisha did not have 3 hours. Maybe she had 30 minutes. "We need to move now," Marcus said. "I will carry her." The alien stared at him. "The path back is dangerous," the researcher said. "You crossed a chasm, you walked through the storm. Now you want to carry someone and do it all again. That is impossible." Marcus knelt beside Shisha. She looked at him with fading light in her crystalline eyes. "On Earth, we have a saying. When someone needs help, you do not ask if it is possible. You ask how to make it possible." He carefully lifted Shisha. She was lighter than he expected. "Threx, carry the medical supplies. Yenna, Pix, help the other researchers. We leave now." "But the storm," Pix said. "It is getting worse. The wind speed has increased. The acid rain is heavier." Marcus adjusted Shisha in his arms. He could carry her easily. Humans had evolved as endurance hunters. They could carry loads over long distances. They could keep moving when others had to stop. "Then we move faster," Marcus said. "Shisha does not have time for us to wait for better weather. We go now." He stepped out of the shelter into the screaming wind. The acid rain hammered his suit. The temperature had dropped even more. Ice was forming on the rocks. Marcus started walking. His team followed. They had come 5 kilometers through a storm. Now they had to go back, carrying extra weight in worse conditions against time. But Marcus did not look worried. He looked determined. On Earth, humans had learned something important. When everything seems impossible, you do not give up. You take one step, then another, and you keep going until the job is done. The team disappeared into the storm, racing against time to save a life. Marcus walked through the storm with Shisha in his arms. The crystalline alien was getting weaker. Her glow was fading. Every minute counted. Behind him, Threx carried the heavy medical supplies. Yenna and Pix helped the two researchers move forward. The wind had grown stronger. The acid rain fell harder. The temperature kept dropping. "Marcus, how much farther?" Threx asked. His voice sounded tired. Marcus checked his navigation device. 3 kilometers to the chasm, then 2 more to the ship. We have been walking for 40 minutes. "I need to rest," one of the researchers said. He sat down on a rock. "My legs are burning. I cannot continue." Marcus stopped and turned around. "If we stop, Shisha dies. Can you walk for 10 more minutes?" The researcher looked at the dying Lumini in Marcus's arms. He nodded and stood up again. "I will try." They continued walking. Marcus maintained a steady pace. Not too fast, not too slow. His breathing was even. He showed no signs of fatigue. Pix moved beside Marcus. "How are you not tired? You are carrying Shisha. You have been walking for hours." "Your suit readings show your heart rate is barely elevated." Marcus smiled under his helmet. "Humans are endurance specialists. On Earth, my ancestors hunted by chasing animals until the animals collapsed from exhaustion. We are not the fastest species. We are not the strongest. But we can keep going longer than almost anything else." "That sounds terrifying," Pix squeaked. "It is a useful adaptation," Marcus said. "Our bodies are efficient. We have good cooling systems. Our muscles can work for hours without stopping. What feels exhausting to you feels normal to me." They reached the chasm. The acid river still flowed below. The wind was worse now. The gusts were stronger and less predictable. Marcus studied the situation. The rocks were covered in ice. Crossing would be more dangerous than before, but they had no choice. "Same as before," Marcus said. "We cross during the calm moments. I go first with Shisha." He waited for the pattern. The wind screamed. Then it calmed. Marcus jumped to the first rock. His boots gripped the ice. He had practiced moving on ice during winter training in Alaska. He crossed the chasm in 4 calm periods. Shisha's light was very dim now. Threx crossed next, but he slipped on the 3rd rock. His heavy body started sliding toward the edge. Marcus put Shisha down gently and grabbed Threx's arm. He pulled the big alien to safety with one strong pull. "Thank you," Threx gasped. "You saved my life." "We are a team," Marcus said. "Teams help each other." The others crossed safely. Marcus picked up Shisha again and checked her condition. She was barely conscious. Time was running out. They started moving again. The storm grew worse. Lightning struck close by. The thunder was deafening. The acid rain became so heavy it was like walking through a waterfall. Then disaster struck. Yenna cried out. "My suit, something hit me." A piece of debris from the storm had torn through her environmental suit. The acid rain started burning through her exoskeleton. She fell to the ground, screaming in pain. Marcus acted instantly. He gave Shisha to Threx. "Hold her carefully." Then he ran to Yenna. Without hesitation, Marcus removed the outer layer of his own suit. It was a protective coating designed to handle extreme conditions. He wrapped it around Yenna's damaged area, stopping the acid from reaching her body. "Marcus, no," Threx shouted. "You will be exposed to the acid rain." "My suit still has an inner layer," Marcus said. "I will be okay." But everyone could see what was happening. The acid rain hit Marcus's inner suit. It started causing small burns on his arms and shoulders where the protection was thinner. Alarms beeped on his suit display. Warning lights flashed. Marcus ignored them. He helped Yenna stand up. "Can you walk?" Yenna looked at him with shock. "You are hurt because of me. The acid is burning you." "I will heal," Marcus said calmly. "Human skin is very good at repairing itself. We evolved to handle injuries and keep moving." Right now, getting everyone to the ship is more important than my comfort. He took Shisha back from Threx. We keep moving, the ship is close. The team continued through the storm. Marcus's suit alarms kept beeping. The acid was causing more damage. His arms hurt. His shoulders burned, but his pace never changed. His grip on Shisha stayed steady. Pix watched in amazement. How are you still walking? The pain must be terrible. Pain is just information, Marcus said. It tells me I am injured, but I already know that. The injury is not bad enough to stop me, so I keep going. On Earth, humans learn to push through pain. It is part of survival. After another 30 minutes, the ship appeared through the rain. It looked like the most beautiful thing in the world. The team rushed toward it. The cargo door opened. Medical staff ran out with stretchers. They took Shisha immediately. Doctors started treating her right away. They also rushed to help Yenna and check on Marcus. A medical officer looked at Marcus's burns. These are serious. You need treatment immediately. Treat Shisha first, Marcus said. Then Yenna, I can wait. But you are in pain, the medical officer said. Marcus sat down calmly. Yes, but I am not dying, they were. There is a difference. The medical staff worked quickly. Shisha was placed in a special chamber that would heal her crystalline body. The doctors said she would survive. Yenna was treated for her acid burns. She would recover fully. Finally, they treated Marcus. They cleaned his burns and applied healing gel. The doctor was surprised. Your skin is already starting to heal on its own, the doctor said. I have never seen such fast natural recovery. Humans heal quickly, Marcus explained. Our bodies are designed to repair damage and keep functioning. It is another adaptation from Earth. Commander Vila entered the medical bay. Her glowing patterns showed deep respect. Marcus Chen, you saved 3 lives today. You carried an injured person through a deadly storm. You gave up your own protection to save a teammate. You ignored your own pain to complete the mission. This is beyond what we expected from any recruit. Marcus shook his head. I just did what needed to be done. Any human would have done the same. Vila's patterns brightened with surprise. You truly believe that? Yes, Marcus said. On Earth, helping others is normal. We face danger together. We protect the weak. We never leave anyone behind. It is part of being human. The other aliens in the medical bay looked at each other. They were beginning to understand something important. Humans were not just tough because they came from a death world. They were tough because they cared about others more than themselves. Threx approached Marcus. You saved my life at the chasm. You saved Yenna from the acid. You saved Shisha by carrying her through the storm. You are a hero, Marcus smiled. I am just a guy from Earth doing his job, but thank you. As Marcus rested, news of the mission spread through the station. The human from the death world had done the impossible. He had turned a rescue mission that should have failed into a complete success, and this was only his first mission. The galaxy was starting to realize something. Humans were different. They did not give up. They did not abandon their teammates. They pushed through pain and fear to do what was right. Earth had sent them someone special, but on Earth, Marcus was just an ordinary person, which meant there were billions more just like him. That thought amazed and terrified the aliens in equal measure. Marcus sat in the medical bay while the healing gel worked on his burns. Shisha was stable. Yenna was recovering. Everyone was safe. The rescue mission was complete. Then the ship's alarm started blaring. Red lights flashed throughout the corridors. The pilot's voice came over the speakers. Emergency alert. Category 5 storm system approaching. Estimated arrival in 15 minutes. All personnel prepare for evacuation. Commander Vila rushed into the medical bay. Her glowing patterns flickered with panic. We need to abandon the rescue ship. The storm is too powerful. Our shields cannot handle Category 5 conditions. Everyone to the escape pods immediately. Marcus stood up. What about the ship? It has all our equipment and supplies. We have no choice, Vila said. No pilot can fly through a Category 5 storm on a Class 7 world. The escape pods will automatically navigate to safety. The ship will be destroyed, but we will survive. Marcus walked to the bridge. He looked at the storm data on the screens. The wind speeds would reach 300 kilometers per hour. Lightning strikes every few seconds. Temperature drops of 50 degrees. Massive debris fields carried by the wind. It looked dangerous, but Marcus had seen similar data before. "I can fly us out," Marcus said calmly. Everyone on the bridge turned to stare at him. The pilot, a long-necked alien named Reth, made a choking sound. "That is suicide," Reth said. "I have 40 years of flight experience. I have flown through storms on my homeworld. But this is beyond anything I was trained for. No one can fly through a Category 5 storm." Marcus looked at the control panel. It was similar to the atmospheric craft he had flown on Earth. "On my planet, we have storms like this regularly. Hurricanes, typhoons, tornadoes. Humans have been flying through them for over a century." Vila's patterns dimmed with doubt. "Marcus, I respect your abilities. You proved yourself on the surface, but flying is different. One mistake and we all die." "Commander, I have logged over 2,000 flight hours in extreme weather," Marcus said. "I trained as a hurricane hunter pilot before joining the Survey Corps. My job was to fly into the worst storms on Earth to gather data. This storm is big, but it follows the same principles." Reth shook his head. "Our flight training assumes stable conditions. We learn to fly in gentle winds and clear skies. Our homeworlds do not have violent weather. We do not have the instincts for this." Marcus sat in the pilot's seat. "Then trust my instincts. They were developed over millions of years on a planet that tried to kill my ancestors every single day." The storm was 12 minutes away. Vila had to make a decision. She looked at Marcus's calm face. She remembered how he had walked through the acid rain without fear, how he had carried Shisha through impossible conditions, how he had given his own protection to save Yenna. "Do it," Vila said. "Get us out of here." The crew strapped into their seats. Marcus's hands moved across the controls. He checked the engines, the stabilizers, the power systems. Everything was functional. The storm hit like a hammer. The ship shook violently. Alarms screamed. The crew was thrown against their restraints. Wind speeds jumped from 100 to 200 kilometers per hour in seconds. Marcus's hands stayed steady on the controls. He did not fight the wind. He read it. He felt how the storm moved. He angled the ship to use the wind's force instead of resisting it. "Ascending to 2,000 meters, Marcus announced. His voice was calm. "The storm has layers. The middle layer will have less turbulence." Reth watched the screens in amazement. "How do you know where the calm layers are?" "Experience," Marcus said. "Storms are violent, but they have structure. Air pressure, temperature gradients, wind patterns. You learn to read them like a language." The ship climbed higher. Lightning struck nearby. The electrical discharge made the lights flicker. Threx screamed. Pix fainted. Even Vila's glowing patterns went dim with fear. Marcus adjusted the flight path. He avoided the lightning by watching the electrical charges build up in the clouds. On Earth, he had learned to see the signs before the strike happened. A massive piece of debris flew toward them. It was a chunk of rock the size of a vehicle carried by the wind. Reth closed his eyes. They were going to die. Marcus tilted the ship 45 degrees. The debris missed them by 3 meters. He leveled out immediately and continued climbing. "How did you see that coming?" Reth gasped. "I watched the wind patterns," Marcus said. "Debris follows predictable paths. You just have to look ahead and plan your route." The ship shook harder. They entered the worst part of the storm. The wind speed reached 280 kilometers per hour. Rain hammered the hull. The temperature dropped so fast that ice formed on the windows. Marcus's fingers danced across the controls. He made hundreds of tiny adjustments every minute. Angle the nose up. Reduce thrust, shift left. Increase power. Each movement was precise. Vila watched in awe. Marcus was not just flying, he was dancing with the storm. He understood its rhythm. He anticipated its moves. He made the impossible look easy. "Why do humans learn to fly in these conditions?" Vila asked. Marcus smiled. "Because Earth does not give us a choice. If we want to travel, explore, and help people during disasters, we must learn to fly through the worst weather imaginable. We cannot wait for perfect conditions, so we mastered the imperfect ones." After 20 minutes that felt like hours, the ship broke through the top of the storm. The sky cleared. Stars appeared above them. The shaking stopped. They were safe. The crew sat in stunned silence. Then Threx started clapping. Yenna joined in. Soon everyone was applauding. Marcus had done what they thought was impossible. Marcus set a course back to Station Zenith 7. Storm flight complete. All systems functional. Estimated arrival in 3 hours. Reth unbuckled and approached Marcus. The experienced pilot's hands were shaking. "I have been flying for 40 years. I thought I was skilled, but you just showed me I know nothing about real flying. How did you learn this?" Marcus shrugged. "Every human pilot who flies on Earth learns this. It is basic training. The planet demands it." "Basic training," Reth repeated in disbelief. "What you just did would be considered legendary piloting on any world in the galaxy, and you call it basic." Marcus thought about that. "I suppose it is all about perspective. When you grow up on a Deathworld, you learn skills that seem normal to you but amazing to others. On Earth, flying through storms is just part of the job." The journey back to the station was smooth. The crew rested. Shisha remained stable. Everyone would make it home safely. When they docked at Zenith 7, hundreds of station personnel were waiting. News of the mission had spread. The human had not only rescued the stranded team, but had flown through a Category 5 storm that should have killed them all. Commander Vila addressed the crowd. "Today, Marcus Chen showed us what humans are capable of. He walked through acid rain. He carried the injured through deadly conditions. He flew through a storm that terrified our best pilots. And when we thanked him, he said it was just another day on Earth." The crowd murmured in amazement. Marcus stood quietly, uncomfortable with the attention. 3 days later, Marcus received a message. The Galactic Council wanted to see him. They had a special assignment. A Class 10 Deathworld had been discovered. It had resources vital for medicine. Every survey team they sent had failed within hours. They needed someone from a Deathworld. They needed Marcus. As he read the message, Marcus felt excited. A real challenge. A chance to explore the kind of world that felt like home. He sent his reply in 3 words. "When do I leave?" Marcus stood before the Galactic Council. Representatives from 50 different species filled the enormous chamber. All of them watched him with curious eyes. The council leader, an ancient being named Elder Zorath, spoke in a deep voice. "Marcus Chen of Earth, we have a problem. A Class 10 Deathworld called Terminus 9 has been discovered. It contains plants that can cure 12 different diseases. Millions of lives across the galaxy could be saved, but every team we send fails within 1 hour." A holographic display showed Terminus 9. Marcus studied it carefully. The planet had gravity 2.5 times stronger than Earth. Active volcanoes covered the surface. The atmosphere was filled with dangerous gases. Lightning storms never stopped. Massive creatures walked across the land. Plants grew so aggressively they could trap and consume anything that touched them. "What happened to the previous teams?" Marcus asked. "The gravity crushed their bones," Elder Zorath said sadly. "The atmosphere burned their lungs. The creatures hunted them. The plants trapped them. The longest any team survived was 47 minutes. We lost good people trying to reach those plants." Marcus looked at the data more carefully. Something seemed familiar. "This planet reminds me of Earth during the Mesozoic era. Difficult environment, but not impossible. My ancestors survived similar conditions millions of years ago." The council chamber filled with whispers. Elder Zorath leaned forward. You believe you can survive where our best teams failed. I would like to try, Marcus said, but I need to go alone. Other species cannot handle these conditions. I will not risk anyone else's life. Commander Vila stood up. Marcus, this is beyond dangerous. Even for a human, the gravity alone could kill you, Marcus smiled. Humans adapt, our bodies are flexible. I will train in high-gravity chambers for 2 weeks. I will study the creatures and plants. I will prepare properly. Then I will go. The council discussed for several minutes. Finally, Elder Zoreth nodded. Very well, you have our permission, but Marcus, please understand. If you die, Earth will lose its only representative in the Survey Corps. Are you certain? I am certain, Marcus said. Those plants can save millions of lives. That is worth the risk. 2 weeks later, Marcus's ship approached Terminus 9. He had trained hard. His muscles had adapted to high gravity. He had studied every piece of data about the planet. He was as ready as he could be. The ship landed on a rocky plain. Marcus wore a specialized suit designed for extreme conditions. He took a deep breath and stepped out. The gravity hit him immediately. Every movement felt like carrying a heavy weight, but his training helped. He adjusted his stance and started walking. It was hard but manageable. The air was toxic. His suit filtered it. The temperature was 45 degrees. His suit cooled him. Lightning struck constantly. He stayed away from tall objects. Every challenge had a solution. Marcus set up a base camp using equipment from his ship. He built a shelter that could withstand the wind and rain. He created a safe perimeter using motion sensors to warn him about dangerous creatures. He established a water purification system. Within 3 days, Marcus had a functional camp. He began exploring. He mapped the safe zones. He observed the predators from a distance and learned their hunting patterns. They were large and dangerous but predictable. They hunted during the day and rested at night. The plants were tricky. They sensed movement and closed around anything that touched them, but Marcus noticed they responded to vibrations. He used a long stick to trigger them from a distance. Once triggered, they took 10 minutes to reset. That gave him a safe window to collect samples. After 1 week, Marcus found the medicinal plants. They grew near volcanic vents where the heat was intense. The location was dangerous, but Marcus approached carefully. He collected samples and stored them in protective containers. He also gathered detailed environmental data, soil composition, weather patterns, creature behaviors, everything the council would need to establish a permanent research station. 2 weeks later, Marcus returned to his ship. He had completed the mission. He had survived on a Class 10 Deathworld longer than anyone thought possible. Most importantly, he had the plants that could save millions of lives. When Marcus arrived back at Station Zenith 7, the entire station celebrated. Scientists immediately began studying the plant samples. Medical teams started developing treatments. Within months, the first cures would be ready. The Galactic Council called another meeting. Marcus stood before them again. This time, every representative stood in respect. Elder Zoreth spoke with emotion. Marcus Chen, you have done what we believed was impossible. You survived on Terminus 9 for 14 days. You collected the samples we needed. You provided data that will help us understand Deathworlds better. How did you do this? Marcus thought carefully before answering. Honorable Council members, I understand why you see Deathworlds as impossible. You come from paradise. Your evolution was gentle. You never had to develop extreme adaptability, but humans evolved differently. Earth tested us every single day. Gravity changes, temperature extremes, deadly creatures, toxic environments, natural disasters. Earth threw everything at us and we learned to survive it all. He continued. We are not the strongest species, we are not the fastest. We are not the smartest, but we are the most stubborn. When faced with impossible odds, we do not give up. We find solutions, we adapt, we keep going. That is what makes humans special. Commander Vila stepped forward. The Council has made a decision. We are creating a new division called Deathworld Operations. Marcus, we want you to lead it. You will train other species in human survival techniques. You will lead missions to dangerous worlds. You will help us explore places we never could before. Marcus felt honored. I accept, but I want to make something clear. Humans do not conquer through force. We survive through adaptation. We do not avoid challenges. We learn from them, and we never leave anyone behind. Those are the principles that will guide this division. The Council agreed. Over the following months, Marcus recruited a team. He trained them in Earth survival techniques. He taught them how to read weather patterns, how to move in high gravity, how to stay calm under pressure. The team started taking missions to Class 7, 8, and 9 worlds. Places that were previously too dangerous became accessible. Resources were collected. Scientific discoveries were made. Lives were saved. One day, Threx approached Marcus during training. "I have a question. On Earth, are you considered brave?" Marcus laughed. "On Earth, I am just a regular person. There are teachers who work in dangerous neighborhoods. There are firefighters who run into burning buildings. There are doctors who travel to war zones. There are parents who sacrifice everything for their children. Compared to them, I am not special." Threx's eyes widened. "A whole planet of beings like you, a whole planet where this kind of courage is normal. Earth truly is remarkable." Marcus smiled. "Earth is home. It is dangerous and beautiful. It challenges us and shapes us. It made us who we are, and now we use what Earth taught us to help the entire galaxy." Years later, Marcus stood on the observation deck of Station Zenith 7. He looked at the stars. Out there were thousands of worlds. Some were paradise, some were deadly. But now the galaxy had humans to help explore them all. Commander Vila joined him. "What are you thinking about?" "I am thinking about how everything changed," Marcus said. "When I first arrived, everyone feared Deathworlds. Now we understand them. We work with them. We learn from them. Earth taught us that danger and beauty can exist together, that challenges make us stronger, that impossible is just another word for not yet accomplished." Vila's patterns glowed warmly. "You changed how we see the universe. You showed us that Deathworlds are not places to avoid. They are places that create the strongest, most adaptable beings. Earth gave the galaxy something precious. It gave us humans, and humans gave us hope." Marcus nodded. "And we are just getting started. There are millions of worlds to explore, billions of lives to help, countless challenges to overcome. The galaxy is vast and full of wonders, and now humans are here to discover them all." He looked at Earth's location among the stars, his home, his Deathworld. The planet that tried to kill humanity for millions of years and instead created the most resilient species in the galaxy. Marcus whispered softly, "Thank you, Earth, for making us strong, for teaching us to never give up, for showing us that when everything seems impossible, we just need to take one more step." And somewhere out in the cosmos, on a small blue planet covered in storms and earthquakes and dangerous creatures, humanity continued to thrive. Because that is what humans do. They survive, they adapt, they overcome. They are children of a Deathworld, and that makes them extraordinary.